Okay. I can dig it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's just Kissy learning some buttons. That's what that is, of course.
That was a mistake on my part.
Oh, were you playing the Stevie Ray Vaughan there, Louie? Yeah. It's funny, and that didn't seem to be your kind of thing. But,
I'm the most talented guy in this room.
Yes, and once again, he is sitting alone at home in his apartment. Yeah, just so we know that. Well, moving on today, we got all kinds of stuff to cover for you yet today. That's right, on 4 continents, there's historic droughts wreaking havoc. California's historic drought appears to be matched by severe dry spells in 3 other continents: Brazil, North Korea, and South Africa. Well, who cares about North Korea? Let them suck it. Well, all are bearing the brunt of much lower rain than average precipitation, of course, wreaking havoc on millions of people's lives and livelihoods. While the causes vary from country to country, the chances of more intense droughts in the future as a result of man-made climate change is only increasing in regional extremes of precipitation, both more and less remain likely, according to the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is, of course, thanks to the addition of Frankie McDonald, who we go to for our weather now. Well, every drought is unique, says Peter Glick, president of the Pacific Institute, a global water think tank in Oakland. The same drought in California would have very different impacts in other countries, he said. What's considered a drought in Bali, Indonesia, where 6 days without rain is unusual, would certainly not be considered a drought in Libya, where annual rainfall is just 7 inches. The National Drought Mitigation Center reported. In some parts of the world, such as the Middle East, a drought is simply a permanent part of life because the chronic lack of water, making desalination and the reuse of wastewater far more commonplace there, said Charles Iceland of the DC-based World Resources Institute. Overall, tracking droughts globally is difficult. No country outside the U.S. has a comprehensive effort to monitor it. Well, thank God we've got Frankie McDonald. Yes, so says the National Drought Center. The South American nation's worst drought in 50 years is impacting a fifth of Brazil's 200 million people, including those in the megacities of São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Brazil is really suffering, Glick said. It's pushing the infrastructure to the limit, he said. Please send cases of Coke. And while Brazil has a decent system of dams and reservoirs, no human-built infrastructure is adequate if the drought is extreme enough, Glick says. São Paulo, Brazil's largest city, is now running on emergency reserves of water and has started rationing because of the lack of precipitation, the Global Drought Information System reported. Water in Brazilian cities and reservoirs is extremely polluted, Iceland says, meaning that access to clean water, even at rainy times, is challenging. The drought makes that situation even worse. What little water is left in the rivers and reservoirs is just about unusable in its current state, Iceland said. In Brazil, the wastewater is not treated and just dumped into rivers, which are, well, essentially like open sewers. Kind of like this show. Well, it is, Gilbert, because, you know, where else do you have radio interns leaving for a life of porn, you know? It's, I think, I don't know, maybe I was too hard on the sexual harassment. Maybe that was it. Well, the Golden State's massive water infrastructure system, the most extensive in the world to be exact, is being put to the test by the epic drought, Glick said. California's drought has brought unprecedented water shortages, increased threats to wildlife and crops, higher electric bills, and huge economic losses. As of Thursday, U.S. Drought Monitor, 97% of the state is enduring some level of drought. Each of the state's 12 reservoirs is at a level far below average, as are streams. Above average precipitation during the last 90 days in parts of central and southern California and the Sierra have not included the overall drought or not reduced the overall drought conditions in these areas because they're still too abnormally dry. However, good news is on the way for California as flash flooding is expected in as little as 30 days. And in Africa, drought continues to intensify in the equatorial region and remains entrenched in South Africa. That's God's way of killing you all. That's what that is. Well, South Africa's governments say part of the country we're seeing the worst drought since 1992. It said the eastern province of KwaZulu-Natal is in especially bad shape. Water shortages have reached crisis levels, the government said in a statement. The country had been forced to import corn this year rather than export it, as it usually does, the UN World Food Program reported. South Africa, the largest producer in the region, accounting for more than 40% of regional corn output, has estimated production fall of 32% below last year's harvests, WFP spokesperson Jane Howard said in an email to us. There are concerns that there could be significant food supply shortages in the coming months, she added, which means Monsanto Corporation and their stock are sure to skyrocket.
Yes.
Yeah, several dams are at critically low levels, forcing mandatory water cutbacks in most areas. Water is being supplied by some communities by water trucks. The situation we are facing is a very serious one, a South African government official, Nosuma Dubi Nsibi, said in a separate statement. There are no signs of rain coming. We are praying. Well, see, now we should have sent down one of our dead because... You know, like that girl at that funeral.
Yes.
You know, she's so full of God's light.
Yes.
You know, had we known, we could have just sent her down. She would have fixed all that. But no, there we go. Squandering God's resources yet again. That's right. Well, the National Transportation and Safety Board is, well, they're up in arms or something. Southwest Airlines, of course, did a nose landing at LaGuardia, and, well, it's the drunk captain's fault. Yeah. That's right. The Southwest Airlines pilot who landed nose first and skidded thousands of feet to a halt at New York's LaGuardia 2 years ago should have aborted the landing. Federal accident investigators have determined. The NTSB blamed the accident July 22, 2013 on the captain's attempt to recover from a bad landing approach by taking control of the Boeing 737 from the co-pilot at just 27 feet off the ground, rather than simply circling the airport for another landing attempt. The board also blamed the captain for failing to comply with Southwest's own standard operating procedures to abort a landing higher off the ground if the descent isn't lined up correctly with the runway. The flight crew's performance was indicative of poor crew resource management, the board said in a statement accompanying the decision today. The board said that the incident raised safety concerns because 75% of the aviation accidents investigated featured cues that pilots should have aborted their landings. Despite airline flight manuals urging pilots to circle the airport after an unstable approach, a study at an international air safety summit in 2011 suggested that pilots continued landing in 97% of unstable approaches. Southwest plane landed hard enough that the nose gear punched up into the plane's electronics bay, and it skidded 2,175 feet, grinding to a halt, according to the investigators. 8 people suffered minor injuries on the flight. 141 passengers and crew members were uninjured. Southwest fired the captain in October of 2013. Documents that investigators released in October 2014 documented the friction between the captain and the first officer during the landing. The 45-year-old captain had flown for Southwest more than a decade, and she had 12,000 hours of flight time, including 2,600 as a pilot in command on a 737, according to investigators. Southwest had hired the first officer, a 44-year-old, year and a half before the incident, after spending 20 years in the United States Air Force. The first officer flew the plane from Nashville, but said that the captain was giving instructions about the landing. The pilots avoided thunderstorms in the area, but they approached the airport with a tailwind the captain said reached more than 30 miles an hour. The pilots agreed to set the plane's wing flaps at 40 degrees rather than the customary 30 degrees to help slow the plane down, according to investigators. But the first officer told investigators that he landed with 30-degree flaps about 98% of the time, and that the higher drag of 40 degrees meant the pilot had to be, quote, on her game. When the plane was about 500 feet off the ground, the captain noticed that the flaps were still at 30 degrees, so she just went and set them to 40.
Yes.
About 27 feet off the ground, 3 seconds from touchdown, the captain took control of the plane, saying, quote, "I've got it." And the first officer replied, "Okay, you got it."
Yes.
According to the plane's black box recording. The plane's nose was pointed down 3 degrees and hit descending at a rate of 960 feet per minute, according to investigators. Southwest Flight Operations Manual says any landing should be aborted when the plane isn't in the proper configuration to land at least 1,000 feet in the air. But the flaps were changed at 500 feet, and the captain noticed the plane was above the intended glide slope at 100 feet in the air, which investigators said were both opportunities to circle the airport for another try. But did she? No. Must have been that time of the month. Well, the board found that the captain's decision to take control of the plane at 27 feet above ground did not allow her the adequate time to correct the plane's deteriorating energy state to prevent the nose and landing gear from striking the runway. She was summarily fired. And moving on today, is there hope for the United States? Will Spain issue that hitman hit for President Obama?
Yes.
We'll find out soon. President Obama welcomes Spanish royalty to the White House in September. King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain come calling on September 15th, the White House announced today. The visit is part of a royal trip to the U.S. that will also take King Felipe and Queen Letizia to Miami and St. Augustine, Florida. Their visit reinforces the strong and enduring ties between the American and Spanish people, the White House said. Spain always punches above their weight. And now we got a little kind of fun story.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's, well, it's touching. It's heartfelt.
Yes.
It's going to be effing hilarious. No, it is. That's right, because we've got the story for you today, folks. Girl born without a face finds sister across the world. That's right, in Tyler, Texas. Of course, it's Texas.
Yes.
Yes, Tyler, Texas. By the age of 6, Danica Wetmore had only ever lived inside a Ukrainian orphanage. In all that time, Tom and Tammy Wetmore were the only ones who ever visited her. It's just, you felt in your heart. We knew as soon as I saw her. I knew in my spirit. Go get your daughter, says Tammy Wetmore. That's exactly what I felt is, quote, go get your daughter. Well, Danica was born with a Treacher-Collins syndrome, resulting in deafness, bones missing from her face. Because of her challenges, the Wetmores were told the chances were that she'd be turned out of the orphanage when she got old enough to live on the streets. 6 years later, she's happy, loved, and safe with her family. She's quirky, extremely inquisitive, very artistic, Tom Wetmore said. She loves drawing, painting, and expressing herself. Kind of like this.
Yes.
At this point, perhaps you're wondering, what would inspire a family to open their hearts to a girl with no face? Well, the answer is their daughter Juliana. She was born into the family 6 years before Danica showed up, and she too has no face. In fact, a much more severe case. Along with deafness, she was born with about 40% of the bones in her face. You forget that there's anything different about her. Yeah, no we don't. And of course, here is a conversation we recorded at the interview.
Yes.
Apparently, that is, Mom, turn on YTV. Yes, that's, to which, of course, the response was, I'm so getting fired.
Yes.
Well, pure love, she loves everybody. And unlike Crash, doesn't judge anybody. Yeah, she doesn't see anybody as different, Tom said. Well, that's because she can't see. She just takes everybody as the same. My favorite thing to do is watch movies with her, watch TV, play on the computer, play with my sisters, Juliana said.
Yes.
Whatever you first think of somebody when you see them on the outside, it's not what they are on the inside, Tom says. What is Julia on the inside? Well, she's a girl whose strength inspired her parents to find room in their hearts for Danica. To understand the challenges ahead better than most, she had even been in an orphanage for 6.5 years, and no one had visited her, largely because her conversation skills were lacking. Well, we were the first and only ones, Tom added, and the Wetmore's love didn't stop with Danica. No, after her, they still have more room in their hearts to adopt 3 more siblings who apparently have no faces either. Of course, you can be looking for the, what is it, the HBO reality series now, or is it going to be on Discovery?
Yes.
Yeah, Face Off. Yes. Yeah, it's just amazing how your daughter that you can look at as normal every day. No, you can't. Yeah, right. I can see it now. You know, old Tom gets up.
Yes.
And, oh, that was a good sleep.
Yes.
I think I'll go down and get some coffee.
Yes.
Oh, Oh, go past the kids' room. For the love of God, what the hell is that? Oh, right. That's my daughter's. Yes. Yes, it's just amazing. You look at them as normal. Everyday child that looks a little bit different. Holy crap, have you seen the pictures? I'm serious. It looks like a butthole with hair.
They get crazy because all of a sudden nobody loves them.
Oh, yes, the child looks a little bit different, but has changed so many lives, Tom says, because you realize it's okay to be who you are. Nothing, it seems, comes easier to Juliana than that. Except speech. Well, I'm out of a job now, so... well, why not? You know, if I drive a girl away to the porn business,
yes.
You know, I think really my job in radio is over. Yeah, I do.
Sex is only the tip of the iceberg.
Well, yeah, and it's it's pretty much the summation of my entire life, Louie. Yeah. So, yeah, Gilbert, maybe, I guess you'll host the show tomorrow.
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Well, it's not awful, but just not good.
No. Do you think you can actually do it, though?
Same thing.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, we've got something that, well, definitely Gilbert and I both need to be very, very cautious and very wary of course. A group has ranked Montgomery, Alabama, has been named the most sexually diseased city.
Yes.
There you go. Montgomery, Alabama has been named the most sexually diseased city in the nation, according to one group's ranking of federal data. The rankings released this week and compiled by rentapplication.com. Okay, they used... well, that's a nice house. I think I'd like to rent it. I wonder what the sluts are like around here. You just see that on the realty listing, sluts 4.8.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that neighborhood's not too bad. 4.8 slut percentage. That's... Well, they used, of course, 2013 data from the CDC and prevention. The study reflects reports of syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia. Herpes data is not collected. Rates were measured per 100,000 people, and only cities with significant populations were chosen. It's pretty sobering to look at these as a total, says Tom Miller, Chief Medical Officer for the Alabama Department of Public Health. When we check numbers and try to get the same point as we've reported in this ranking, we think the numbers are in the ballpark in terms of the numbers cited for Montgomery. The take-home here is that with 2014 data, Montgomery will look a whole lot different. The caveat there is that if other cities see the same downward trend, it wouldn't make difference to our rankings, he says. By the numbers, Montgomery had 4,371. Wow, 4,371 reported cases of STDs.
Yes.
According to rentapplication.com, the total number of diseases per 100,000 is 1,899.20. Following Montgomery is St. Louis, Missouri, which had 1,867.54 reported cases per 100,000. Several in the top 10 are in the southern region of the U.S., 3 cities with large military populations, Norfolk Naval Base in Norfolk, Virginia, Fort Hood in Killeen, Texas, and Fort Bragg in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They took the 5th, 9th, and 10th spots, respectively. Montgomery, with a population of 201,332, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, was reported to have following cases per 100,000. Chlamydia, 3,039. Gonorrhea, 1,309. Syphilis, 23. Total STDs reported, 4,371. Miller believes that there is a balance between the diseases coming from transients and those in the Montgomery area. It's difficult to quantify how much is really contributed by specific groups, he says. And no, I know what you're thinking. Las Vegas is not in the top 10. There you go. Well, finally today, yes, we're doing it right. We're doing it right. Oh yeah, all night, baby.
Yes.
Well, the big question on everybody's minds, as we've had yet another glowing godlight child die. That's right. Who will inherit, of course, Whitney Houston's millions? That is the question on everybody's mind now that Bobby Christina Brown is gone. Yes, that another godly light. Yes, is gone 6 months after she mysteriously fell into unconsciousness. What happens to the estate she was to inherit from her late mother, Whitney Houston? Who will control the estimated millions Houston left in trust for Bobby Christina in her will? Will it be her grieving father, Bobby Brown? He maintained a vigil at her bedside as she lay in a medically induced coma for months in Atlanta hospitals and hospice. Or will it be her maternal family, led by a greedy grandmother? Greedy grandmother Sissy Houston, or her aunt Pat Houston, who were also at her side. Well, they have controlled the bulk of Bobby Christina's money under the terms of Whitney Houston's will. One thing is likely: many lawyers will be involved. It's going to be a windfall for the lawyers, unfortunately, says Jerry Reisman, a trust and estate law expert and partner at the Long Island firm of Reisman, Perez, Reisman, and Capobianco. Just 3 years after her mother was found dead in a bathtub at a Beverly Hills hotel, Bobby Christina was found unresponsive and face down in a bathtub in her Roswell, Georgia home. And oh, okay.
Yes.
Roswell, Georgia. I was scared. I thought it was aliens in Roswell, New Mexico. It was the aliens that took that God's light.
Yes.
Yeah, Roswell, Georgia, home, of course, on January 31st. She died yesterday at the age of 22 in a hospice outside of Atlanta. It's still unclear what happened to her and why, but local police and the district attorney have been investigating whether a crime was committed. An autopsy is to be performed by the Fulton County Medical Examiner and could take weeks to produce any results, according to a statement issued today. The Brown and Houston families, who have not seen eye to eye on Bobby Christina for years, may be headed for a long and expensive litigation unless the two families can come to an agreement outside court. They have already demonstrated they can. In April, Bobby Brown and Pat Houston were appointed guardians over Bobby Christina by the Georgia Family Court, and a conservator was appointed to look after her assets. Family court hearings began in Georgia and are closed to the public, so no one in the families has spoken publicly about any proceedings. David Long, attorney for Houston, released a statement for her, saying at the time the guardianship case was a, quote, family member and would not be a family matter, not family member. Yeah. It's a family matter and would not be discussed publicly. We hope to resolve this in a manner that is respectful of Bobby Christina's sensitive health information, the statement said. The Houston family has always looked out for the best interest of Bobby Christina Brown. We trust that others have the same objective. But the questions about what happens to her estate suggest a murky legal situation, Reisman says. Everyone is going to try and grab her money, but it's not necessarily up for grabs, Reisman says. It is a lot of money. Don't forget the royalties coming in from Houston's music constantly. The estate is never going to end. Neither could the potential litigation arising from the case of mother-daughter tragedy, he says. Inheritance laws differ from state to state, but he says the terms of Whitney's will are likely to trump all state laws unless the terms themselves are disputed in court. If so, the court would have to determine what Houston's meant to do, he says, but of course general will governs. And under its terms, Bobby Christina was not to get full access to all the money until she turned 30. When Houston died back in 2012, her estimated $20 million estate was left to Bobby Christina, who was her only child. Houston first drafted her will in 1993, and she amended it in April of 2000. But even after that, Bobby Christina inherited everything. All of Houston's money for the furniture, clothing, cars, including the townhouse in Roswell where she had lived and had been living. Sorry, Kevin Costner. Well, the estate was placed in a trust until Bobby Christina turned 21 on March 4th, 2014. At that time, she received 10% of the estate, or about $2 million. The will dictated that she was to get another sixth of the estate when she turned 25, and the rest at age 30. So now what? Well, since she died before she turned 30, who benefits? Well, under the terms of the will, it goes to Cecil Houston and Whitney's two brothers. Cecil was named executor of the will, but renounced the appointment, and Georgia probate judge later named Whitney's sister-in-law and manager, Marion Houston, as the sole administrator of the estate. And what about her father, you might ask? Are you asking that, Gilbert?
Yes.
Good. You should be.
Yeah.
Well, originally, Bobby Brown was listed as a beneficiary in the will, too, but he and Whitney divorced in 2007. Reisman says that means that generally Bobby Brown would not be entitled to any part of his ex-wife's estate now that Bobby Christina has died. But, says Atlanta estate lawyer Bruce Gaines, he could be entitled to whatever Bobby Christina has received so far from the mother's will. For the purposes of Bobby Christina's estate, he is the sole beneficiary. If she has no husband, and if she has no will, says Gaines, of the Kitchens Kelly Gaines firm, Bobby Brown could seek to gain control of some or all of Whitney's millions in trust for his daughter, but he would have to argue that in court, and it would mean a lot of litigation, Reisman adds. And what about the rights, if any, of Bobby Christina's boyfriend, Nick Gordon? Well, Bobby Christina claimed on social media that the two were married. If he can produce proof of this marriage, Reisman says, then he might be entitled also. If they are married in every state, assuming there is no Bobby Christina, the husband has certain material rights to the spouse's estate, and absent a waiver or a prenup agreement, it's almost impossible to prevent that spouse from obtaining a share, if not at all, of an estate, Reisman says. But Bobby Brown insists Gordon was not married to his daughter, and so far, Gordon has not produced any proof. Moreover, Gordon is a possible target of the investigation of what happened to Bobby Christina in the first place. and has been sued for millions by her court-appointed conservator, Bedelia Hargrove. That lawsuit asserts that Gordon beat up Bobby Christina the day she was found, knocking out a tooth and leaving her unconscious and suffering from what her grandmother later said was a, quote, global brain damage, end quote. He also allegedly stole thousands from her bank account while she was unconscious, the lawsuit charges. Ian Halpern, an investigative journalist who looked into the circumstances of what happened to Bobby Christina for his book, Whitney and Bobby Christina, The Deadly Price of Fame. Well, he says police in Roswell may now have to move forward now that Bobby Christina has died. The autopsy is in the final detail, Halpern says. The police will release their findings as soon as they can. My sources say criminal charges are most likely to be filed. Well, could Gordon have a claim as a common-law husband? Well, some states allow common-law marriages. Georgia, where they had been living, no longer does. He's going to have a very difficult time proving they were married, Reisman says, and even if he could make the case, he has no rights to an estate under common-law marriage. Gaines says that if there's a dispute over the states and Gordon's relationship to Bobby Christina, it wouldn't follow a typical reason for such disputes. Could Gordon still benefit? Well, Bobby Christina's relatives could pay him a percentage of her estate to go away, Reisman says, to avoid years of litigation. If he gets lawyers, they would go forum shopping, as we call it, looking for the state with the best possible forum most favorable to them, Reisman says. If he does bring litigation, he would lose, but it would probably be wise for the family to settle with him. On the other hand, if Gordon is charged and convicted of having some involvement in the events that led to Bobby Christina's death, a settlement is more than unlikely. If he were to be convicted, the state's Slayer statute, which most statutes have, would prevent him from inheriting any of Bobby Christina's estate, Gaines says. So there you go. I hope all that information enlightened you and indeed entertained you. I don't know about you all, but I was not entertained.
Yes.
No, I was not. And, well, there you go. That's all the time. There we go. She's good.
Yes.
I want to thank the one, the only, Kissy Springer in the booth, pushing those buttons for us and making us go on such short notice today, as Jenny just gave us the porn finger just about 3 hours ago. Yeah. Also, thank you to Louie for being here again. It was great having you, sir.
You love to do that kind of stuff. You always did.
Well, yeah.
And put your name up there and dress in different stuff. So fantastic. If I can be of any help, let me know.
I will let you know. I will let you know. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was a mistake on my part.
Well, I hope you make it tomorrow. Yeah. Gilbert, thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you for listening and support the show for the love of God.
And because I don't want to, you want to give them that social media thing there?
Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, on Twitter, and on Instagram.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Also, to the listeners of HTLA out there, your coffee and cigarettes wants to thank you for listening in today. Loved having you. Spreaker.com live chat room, of course, the one, the only Apocalypse, the intern, Sharon Hulley Chesley, Devlon Crawford, all the superstars of Spreaker. And we're reminding you to tune in tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, for another fine edition. Yes, your Tuesday Espresso is coming up for that 28th of July, 2015. Still 81 degrees in New York City right now in Central Park. Sunny skies. I think it's time for us to get the hell out there.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do that. So all of you have a great rest of the day. We'll see you tomorrow. Yes, it is. Yeah, it might have been 83 yesterday, but it's a 92 degrees today right now. Central Park, sunny skies. Dang, it's hot. Severe weather warnings all in play. But that's okay. That's right. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it may be to you. Of course, to us right here at Studio 2 in downtown Manhattan, it is, of course, 5 p.m. That's right, the end of the workday. It's here. Well, for most of us, that work days and stuff. Not like me, who works forever. Yeah. Well, hey, lots of good stuff today, gang. Glad y'all made it. Oh, hang on a sec. Yes. Well, just as yesterday, she's doing just as well. The one, the only Kissy Springer is in the booth today, pushing those buttons, making our show go. And what is on the show today? Well, hey, I'll tell you about 5 reasons why LaGuardia Airport is the worst, and we've even got some fixes. Minnesota dentist deeply regrets taking Cecil the lion. Only because we're telling you about it. If it wasn't in the news, he wouldn't care. Yes, also today, convicted spy. Yes, that spy, Pollard. He's about to be paroled November 21st. As a $1.6 billion in FEMA grants goes out today to target terrorism. Yeah, wonder how successful that money will be. Well... Hey, other stories we're following include the Swiss. Yes, they were busted today stealing water from France for their cattle. Yeah. And U.S. panel questions the Iran nuclear deal today. Yes, all that and so much more today. So, hey, it's the end of the workday. Come on in and grab that cup. Have a seat. Light one up. It is your coffee time. There it is. That is your Kennedy's song right there. Coffee and Cigarettes, HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk, of course. Yes, it is. For this Tuesday Espresso show on Coffee and Cigarettes, 28th of July, 2015. Yeah, severe heat. Oh, yeah, baby. 92 degrees Central Park right now. Nobody seems to be taking shelter or is scared or carrying around crates of water, so I'm thinking it's not as severe as they're saying, but they're saying severe. I just think it's a nice day. Yeah, call me crazy. Let's see, what's first up here? Lots of stuff. Of course, Kissy Springer in the booth, pushing the buttons today, making the show go, and she's doing a fine job on that PreSonus 2442 digital broadcast mixer. Yes, she is. She gets the nod. Yes, we're giving her the nod today. And, of course, if you are into any kind of audio, whether digital or analog, professional or just like playing with buttons and lights, well, get on over to PreSonus.com. That's right. You want to get over there because, hey, they're number one. Damn it. Yeah. Yes, they are. And, of course, this show is also brought to you by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City. Now with those 8 fine locations in the city to serve your coffee and baked goods needs. That's right. Get them now. Get them while they're hot and fresh. Oh, wait, don't have to. They always are. That's right. Tim Hortons is always fresh. They're coming soon to a state or a town near you. Don't you worry, America. They're coming. Yeah. So, hey, how is everybody today? I know I'm doing good, and, well, we've got, we got Kissy working out pretty well. Showed her a bunch of other stuff yesterday, of course. And, yeah, she's doing pretty well on that board, and she seems to have everything under control today, so let's see if she can bring in our guest/co-hosts today. Coming to us first, of course, live via satellite, because that's how he likes us to say it. Really, he's just on the phone. Is the one, the only director of film and television. Academy Award nominated out the butt, but never won, is the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, Louis Lawless. Are you there, sir?
I think it should be short and sweet.
Yes, we'll make it, okay.
He called me, and he called me, and he kept calling me, and I wouldn't answer the phone.
Well, that's okay. It wasn't actually a he. That's Kissy Springer, the new girl there that's in the booth making the show go. And so
you know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Yeah, I think we've got that.
That was a mistake on my part.
No. Well, no. You know, it's not like you've got a name like Mujahideen Al-Habab or something. Yeah. something hard to...
It's about fucking time. Move on.
Oh, Kissy, we didn't go over that button. Yes, and that little cackle in the background is the... the one, the only Gilbert Gottfried coming to us from his lovely, sprawling, spacious apartment about 8 blocks down the road here in beautiful New York City. And
Yes.
Gilbert, it's good to see you. Glad you're here today. Do you have an intro that works today?
And this is, I that up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I kind of figured you would.
Yes.
I don't know. Call me strange. I just had this feeling, you know. But at any rate, welcome, gentlemen, to the show today. It's great having you both here, and yeah, are we good to go? Are we?
What the fuck?
Well, just checking. You know,
I'm ready.
you're ready, okay? And well, Louis swearing and saying move on, so I know he's ready. All right. Well, we'll move on today. We got a lot of stuff to cover on the show today, of course. And, well, would I be remiss if I... Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, well, I guess we'll just move on to the first story. Up for bids on the... I'm not allowed to say the word. Well, let's see what's going on. There's 5 reasons, that's right, 5 of them, why New York's LaGuardia Airport is the worst in the world. But never fear, in addition to highlighting why it's the worst, we'll also give you some ideas on how to improve that mother. Yeah. Yes, New York's LaGuardia Airport is the worst in the country, whether measured in the miserable howls of crowded, stranded travelers or ledgers of government studies. That's why when Kate and I travel,
Yes.
we always go where the dawn goes. We go to Teterboro.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, if there's somewhere we can't get in a private jet, we ain't going. Yeah. That's right. Well, the disjointed half-century-old terminal building features a warren of concourses with inadequate gate seating, restrooms, and power outlets for 27 million travelers a year. Because bad weather often adds another burden to the busy runways and congested taxiways, LaGuardia is one of the worst records among major airports for flight delays and cancellations. LaGuardia deserves its own circle of hell. Yes. Oh, you're going to the Bahamas. Oh, well, enjoy the circle of hell.
Yes.
Yes, the Circle of Hell, says Henry Hartvelt, a travel industry analyst with Atmosphere Research. Quote, it's proof that we as people will put up with an enormous amount of unpleasantness for a degree of convenience, he says. Vice President Biden rekindled interest for rebuilding the airport in February of 2014 by comparing the conditions, well, to Africa. Yes, if I took you blindfolded, and took you to LaGuardia Airport in New York, you'd think, quote, I must be in some third world country, Biden said. It's embarrassing and it's stupid. It's stupid. No, seriously, he said it's stupid twice.
Yes.
It's actually in his quote here.
Yeah.
It is. Well, Biden gave powerful voice to what travelers lamented for years. By that point, surveys such as Zaggett's related LaGuardia the worst airport at least 4 years in a row now, finishing last in almost every single category. The best thing probably to do is to knock it down and start over, says CEO Tim Zaggett, telling the New York Daily News. Of course, he told them that back in 2010.
Yeah.
Well, that may finally happen under some government plans that Governor Andrew Cuomo unveiled today with Biden at his side. The airport has been knocking down hangars dating to the 1930s and is now taking aim at the central terminal, which dates back to 1964. LaGuardia is just a Mad Men-era relic that lacks any mid-century charm, Hartveld said. For now, 5 problems that we've outlined to others, and they hope to remedy these. Good luck with that.
Yes.
Well, they include LaGuardia having several fragmented terminals, which the plans call for replacing with a single architecturally unified building. The airport, built decades before terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, has limited room for security checkpoints. For now, the concourses are too small and the waiting areas are just jam-packed, says Brett Snyder, who writes an aviation blog called crankyflyer.com. Well, some airline lounges are outside security, which makes them far less useful than they should be, he says. In contrast, the sparkling skyscrapers downtown, the airport looks its age. It's really crazy in a city as important as New York. Such an inadequate airport, says George Hobika, founder of airfarewatchdog.com. The central building was built in the age of the propeller, not the jet, he says. The crowded concourses have no rooms for shops or restaurants that invigorate modern airports. Yeah, you know what else they don't have? They don't have smoking areas. But you know what Teterboro has?
Yes.
Yes, for all us rich mothers?
Yes.
Huh? Teterboro not only has private smoking lounges for the CEO and you. No, they also allow, of course, smoking on the private jets. Yeah. So, I'm sailing over Wichita or wherever the hell I'm flying to. Yeah, all you PCers out there know I'm puffing a pack an hour. Well, despite its proximity to downtown, LaGuardia lacks a subway station to make access easier. You basically have to take a cab from Midtown Manhattan, says Hobika, who avoids LaGuardia in favor of John F. Kennedy Airport. The buses are crowded and infrequent, and it takes forever. The overhaul would move the terminal 600 feet closer to Grand Central Parkway, which rings the airport to allow room for nearly 2 miles of new taxiways. Cuomo has proposed a future train to link the airport to the subway. Sitting along the East River, LaGuardia also suffers more than its share of challenging weather, wind, and fog, as those are all common. Superstorm Sandy flooded the low-lying airport with an estimated 100 million gallons of salt water in October 2012, shutting the airport down for 2 days and disrupting travel plans for nearly 250,000 passengers. The congestion and bad weather combined to give travelers some of the worst delays and cancellations in the country. LaGuardia ranks 29th out of 29 major airports for on-time arrivals, 70%, and cancellations, 4.48%, according to the Transportation Department statistics. Departure delays are ranked near the bottom, too. Analysts warn that the construction won't cure the limits of runways and weather, and rebuilding the airport while it continues to operate will make conditions a lot worse than they are now. Safe to say that LaGuardia will have the worst title for years to come, Mann says. Passenger access will get worse during construction, and airlines will face congestion on ramps and gates, he said. It's a very, very brave, audacious move, Hartveldt said. We have never seen where an active airport will be demolished and rebuilt while entirely kept in operation. Well, if you've ever been in one of those lines at LaGuardia,
yes,
they don't move anyway. Part of my soul is still there. It really is. It's not something that you once you've kind of done it and been there just once.
Yes.
You just, it's always with you.
Yes.
It's always. It's never good.
Bullshitters, never keep your mouth shut. Always hustling, always looking for something to do and putting things together. That's the fucking American. Look how
I know, it is. It really is. But we don't need to hear that again, Louis.
Yeah.
So we'll move on. And, of course, moving on today, we're going to go for that first commercial break. But don't you worry, when we come back, all you animal activists out there, you better put your coffees down on the table and hold on to your butts, because we're about to tell you about this loser Minnesota dentist who, capped a lion and thinks it's all okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dentist who is the great mighty hunter.
Yes.
he needs love, Chris.
No, he doesn't. He needs a shot in the head. That's what he needs. So we'll tell you about that when we come back, and so much more on today's show. So, hey, don't go anywhere. Back in 2, gang.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced
from some of the world's most renowned growing regions. Abundant with rich, fertile soil. What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce Dryer Bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power! Power!
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Now, how did you find out that Sandra Bullock was Jewish?
I guess it's kind of, I don't know. It's just, I just know, you know. All right, I can't skate around it anymore. It's her nose. Yeah. Well, you know how they get.
Yes.
You know. I mean, well, look at yours.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. It's the nose thing. You know.
You know why, Chris? Because you're such a control freak. You don't want anyone to tell you what to do.
No, Louis, it's the nose. Yeah. And, you know, it's...
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
What is my name?
Well, I'm not saying your name. You want me to say your name. I'm not... Yes, welcome back to Coffee and Cigarettes today with co-host he who shall not be named. Yes. Well, hey, listen, for realsies now, not even kidding.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, welcome back to the show, of course, your Tuesday Espresso for Tuesday the 28th of July, 2015. 91 degrees Central Park right now. It's damn hot.
Yes.
So hot.
Yes.
I can just imagine you, Gilbert, in your apartment there,
yes.
You know, sitting in your boxers, just slick with sweat, you know. You know, not of course that I think about that stuff all the time. I mean, you know. And just at 2 a.m. when I'm feeling a little frisky. Yeah. Well, welcome back to the show, of course, today. Your Coffee and Cigarettes on HTLA Radio 1, New York's Best Talk. And yes, you can check it out, newyorksbesttalk.com. Get over there. That's where everything's happening. Also, Gilbert, what's our other social media?
Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Yep.
And on Instagram.
Yeah, we got you covered 6 ways from Sunday. Get over there, follow us up, like us up, do all kinds of things. Just do it for free.
Yes.
Yes. And if you're ever in frickin' doubt on any of those platforms anywhere in the world today,
Yes.
just type in HTLA Radio 1, doofus. That's all you got to do. You'll find us.
Yes.
You know, it's not rocket science. It's not hard. And certainly the choice of either LaGuardia or Teterboro, also not hard. No, it's not hard.
They get f***ing crazy because all of a sudden nobody loves them.
No, we're talking about the airports again, Louis.
Yeah.
Let's see. Scent of a woman, Gilbert. Scent of a woman.
So, and here's Hervey villagers in scent of a woman. Your name is Daphne, because I smell the perfume, and I hear the southern accent. Did you just salute to me, even though I'm blind?
Thank you, Gilbert, for doing that.
Yes.
Every time you do that, it gives me a chance to have some coffee and suck on my cigarettes.
Yes. You know, I'm the most talented guy in this room.
No, I wouldn't go that far. You're just filling up dead air. That's really what we. That's really what we use you for here. So just.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Well, Kissy's. She's new. So I wouldn't chance it.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
Yes, from one Irishman to another. Thanks for doing what you're supposed to do, you bastard.
Yes.
Well, moving on today, we got lots of stories to cover, so we might as well, cover some stories. Hey. That's a good idea, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That was a mistake on my part.
I'm leaving it alone.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Okay. Well, we're going to... I got an idea. Let's do some stories. Let's do some. Let's get that... should we... No, I'm not even going to... no, I'm not going to do what I was just thinking in my head, Yeah. Well, it's funny, Gilbert, as we go and we do these shows every day and we're live and all those millions of people, millions and millions of people all throughout the galaxy. They're listening to what you're saying, of course.
Yes.
And, Christ, at least we hope they are. But, you got live listeners and they're listening. And, I know I've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got... Of course, we got to do the mentions, of course, in the Spreaker.com, a live chat room today, the superstars of Spreaker.
Yes.
We got to do them. HTLA's first lady, of course, and she was first in today, too, the one, the only, Devlon Crawford. HTLA's second lady, Sharon Chesley, all the way from Texas, where apparently it is 100 degrees and she had to drive the truck with no AC. Oh, poor widow cowgirl.
Yes.
And Phil DeYoung, of course, the one with the sister with the sweet ass.
Yes.
We got him. He's there, and that's it. Okay, so 3 listeners. Okay. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm fine with it.
Yes.
I know you are because we're not paying you, so... it's...
That was a mistake on my part.
Yeah, it's Louis' fault. You should get the check from him. Yeah. Well, moving on today, of course, because we actually do have stories. Yes, we do. Yes, Minnesota dentist deeply regrets apparently taking Cecil the lion. Zimbabwean authorities say that a Minnesota dentist is responsible for killing one of the country's most beloved lions. Geez, how's that for crash luck? Yes, today the Zimbabwe Conservation Task Force said in a statement that Walter James Palmer of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, paid at least $50,000 to track and kill a lion in Zimbabwe. The conservation group and Zimbabwean authorities said that Palmer ultimately killed Cecil, a protected lion and one of the most famous animals at the Hangway National Park. Cecil was fitted with a GPS collar and tracked by the Oxford University Research Program, according to a statement from Johnny Rodriguez, the chairman of the Zimbabwe Conservation Task Force. Today, Palmer said in a statement, "I relied on the expertise of those little skinny Africans to ensure a legal hunt." So it's all the little skinny's fault.
Yes.
I had no idea that the lion I took was a known local favorite, was collared and part of his study until the end of the hunt, Palmer said. According to CBS, "I deeply regret that my pursuit of an activity I love, which is killing endangered species, and practice responsibility and legality resulted in taking of this lion," he said. According to a police spokeswoman, Charity... Wow, I'm not even making this up. Charity Karumba. Yes, Charity Karumba says Palmer will face charges of poaching. The Associated Press reports today as well. Emmanuel Fundira, the president of the Safari Operators Association of Zimbabwe, said that Palmer's whereabouts are currently unknown, but when we get him, we put him on the splitting sticks. A conversation group.
Yes.
Yes, welcome to the conversation group where we've mastered the art of the conversation. No, we haven't. We're idiots. No. Okay, the conservation group.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay. The conservation group alleges that Palmer worked with the guides to lure Cecil from the national park to an unprotected area by strapping a dead animal to their vehicle. You know, it also works in some of the bars down in New York City, too. Yeah. No, I'm serious. The girls are always looking for a manly man, a man who kills things and straps them to his car.
Yes.
Yes. A renegade man. At least that's what they told. I was drunk. I don't know. Well, once the animal was off the national parkland, Palmer allegedly shot Cecil with a bow and arrow, but did not kill him. The group then tracked the wounded animal for 40 hours, ultimately shooting and killing him, Rodriguez said. Cecil was skinned and ultimately beheaded. See? Minnesota dentist. ISIS. I'm telling you, man, that's what I mean. You got to watch these Minnesota dentists. Yeah. Well, the saddest part of all this is now that Cecil is dead, the next lion in the hierarchy will most likely kill all Cecil's cubs so that he can insert his own bloodline into the females, Rodriguez said. You don't have to say that, Rodriguez. We all saw The Lion King. We know what happened, or what was going to happen to all Simba's bloodline. Ripping those cute little cubs apart in Disney fashion.
Yes.
Well, the two Zimbabwean men facing charges include a landowner and a professional hunter, according to a joint statement from the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority and Safari Operators Association. Neither of the men had hunting permits, making the kill illegal, according to the statement. Palmer, 55, told the Minnesota Star-Tribune earlier today that some things are being misreported in regards to the lion's death. Well, how about just the facts, you little dentist prick?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Let's see. You shot it with a bow and arrow.
Yes.
You tracked it and let it suffer for 40 hours.
Yes.
You finally had one of your skinnies put a bullet in it. Then you, big manly man, you came along and skinned it and beheaded it.
Yes.
F you. Conservation groups and people around the world are outraged by Cecil's death, of course. Since the news broke of the killing, the Yelp page for Palmer's dental facility in Bloomington has been overrun with negative comments The dentistry currently has a 1 star on Yelp. It's likely the business will be out of business before the end of the month. Yeah, really. You know, we should pull all his teeth and stick them on our wall. Well, one user said, if you visit this dentist for services, you are funding his sprees of killing innocent, magnificent African animals that should be protected. Another commented, a vile and disgusting human being. He should be banned from practicing. Absolutely despicable. I blame your parents for raising someone who thinks it's okay to kill earthly creatures. Wouldn't it be clever to see how you would face Cecil without your tricks and tools? No, it wouldn't be clever to see that. It'd just be him running. Oh my God! Help me! Help me!
Yes.
Help me! Oh God, help me!
Yes.
There you go. That's how it should have gone down. Right there. Well, according to the Associated Press, this is not the first time this mother effing dentist... Not the first time that Palmer has been in trouble for hunting. Apparently, Palmer agreed to plead guilty in 2008 for lying to a federal agent about where he shot a black bear in Wisconsin. He was fined $3,000, received probation, and nobody posted it on his dental website. So isn't that nice? You know, we've got the dental professionals of Minnesota out there slaughtering lions in Africa like they're men or something. You know? Yeah. Well, there it is. Well, moving on today, we've got some, intriguing, world intriguing spy news.
Yes.
Yes. In Washington today, convicted spy Jonathan Pollard, who's been in prison since 1985, will be paroled on November 21st, officials said today. Pollard, who is now 61, was granted parole by a 3-0 vote today by the U.S. Parole Commission. Elliot Lauer, one of the Pollard's lawyers, said that he was informed of the panel's decision early this afternoon. We are very, very grateful, Lauer said. Lauer said he expects Pollard to be freed November 20th because releases are usually done on Fridays. Since the date of the spy's actual release is Saturday, the attorney also said he may ask President Obama to expedite that release via, his free and fancy clemency. Yes, this was not a violent crime. He just was trafficking some nuclear devices. And so because of this, we're going to let him go early. Yeah. Yes, we have not made the application yet to the president, but this is definitely something we would consider, Lauer said. I hope that the president would do it on his own. Oh, yeah, because he's got nothing better to do except, visit his little mud hut in Africa. And, of course, free your 61-year-old spy.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess they're not keeping up with the Obamas. Yeah. It's really any purpose for him. There's really no purpose for him staying in jail another 4 months, Lauer said. Over the years, members of the defense and intelligence communities have strongly opposed Pollard's release. Former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld tweeted Tuesday that releasing Pollard was a bad idea in 1998 and in 2001 and is not a better idea today. Justice Department spokesman Mark Ramodi said that the department has always maintained that Pollard should serve his full sentence for the serious crimes he committed. The full sentence, as mandated by law, ends November 21st, Ramodi said. Under federal guidelines at the time of Pollard's case, a person serving a life sentence is eligible for mandatory parole after 30 years, unless that parole commission determines that he has seriously or frequently violated institution rules, or that there is a reasonable probability that he will commit more federal, state, or local crimes. U.S. officials have indicated that they would not challenge Pollard's release by asserting those provisions. Pollard, a U.S. Navy investigative service analyst convicted of spying for Israel, was sentenced to life in prison following his 1985 arrest, working as a civilian intelligence analyst for the U.S. Navy at the time of his arrest. Pollard pled guilty to selling classified information to Israel. Well, how is that bad? Israel's our ally. It's not like he's selling it to Putin or something. What the hell? Yeah, there you go. Huh. I'll be damned. Look at that. Well, the news of Pollard's imminent release surfaces amid friction between the Obama administration and Israel over the Iran nuclear agreement and other issues. The Obama administration officials, however, said Pollard is a criminal justice issue, not a diplomatic one. Alistair Baskey, a spokesperson for National Security Council, said Pollard's status will be determined by the United States Parole Commission according to the standard procedures, and added that there is absolutely zero linkage between Mr. Pollard's status and foreign policy considerations currently. Lauer said the Iran deal has nothing to do with the parole and that he and others have pursued through normal channels for months. I don't expect anyone to object to this, the attorney said. The Parole Commission has the final say. Israel officials who oppose the Iran agreement have appealed for Pollard's release for years, but have been rebuffed. In a 2011 letter to President Obama, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu apologized for Pollard's spying, but said, "I know that the United States is a country based on fairness, justice, and mercy. For all of these reasons, I respectfully ask you to favorably consider this request for clemency. The people of Israel will be eternally grateful." See, and why wouldn't you want that, right? Well, no, Gilbert, because, you know, the people of Israel, they're important.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of.
Yes.
Somehow. You know?
My film, Unrepented, did very well in Europe.
Good, Louis, but how did it do in Israel? No, nothing? Okay. Netanyahu repeated his request to Secretary of State John Kerry as recently as 2014. Lauer said that Pollard would work with the commission on conditions of his release that would presumably allow him to leave the country and travel back to Israel. Yeah. Aaron David Miller, a former Middle East negotiator for Democrat and Republican administrations, said that he would be surprised if Pollard's parole is part of a diplomatic effort by the Obama administration. For one thing, he noted, there are American hostages in Iran. It would look bad if the Obama administration fixed Pollard's release before getting back those Americans. Duh. Also, evidence of a deal involving Pollard would likely bring internal criticism to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, an outspoken foe of the Iran deal. He would have to fight harder against the agreement, said Miller, a distinguished scholar at the Wilson Center in Washington. Miller also said that he doubts that Pollard's request will do much to ease friction between U.S. and Israeli governments that have clashed recently over settlements and Palestinian policies, as well as Iran. Will this estimate one irritant? Yes, Miller said. It will fundamentally improve the dysfunctional relationship between Obama and Netanyahu? Nope. Nope, it won't. So there you go. There it is. He's getting out,
yes,
but nobody wants him out.
Yes.
And yeah, look over there at the lion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah. Well, moving on today, we got a whole bunch of just absolute amazingness in store for you.
Yes.
Absolutely, including our next story, which is going to tell you about the $1.6 billion in FEMA funding that has been released today to target terrorism. Do you think that's going to be successful, Gilbert, at all? Yeah, I don't know. It's what do you think about that, Louis? Do you think all $1.6 billion is going to affect terrorism at all?
The music is fantastic. Oh, you got to hear it.
Okay, well, neither do I. There you go. Yeah. So we got that and so much more for you today, so stick around. Back into...
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Good morning. Welcome to Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where fresh always tastes better. What can I make you this morning?
How about our new flatbread breakfast paninis? Made fresh, just for you, with your favorite breakfast ingredients on maple or multigrain flatbread, then grilled to hot, melted perfection. Just $2.99. Who couldn't warm up to that?
Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where quality really does meet value.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the
Egyptian cotton towels.
Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York.
Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Let's do a brand new day. Let's step away from the bland and let the color fly. Let's get to the one store with more number one choices and match this or this without using too much of this. Then, let's crack open a can and get to it. Paint? No. Let's do POW. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Glidden Duo starts at a new lower price of $25.46 a gallon.
Glasses. White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Take me to your heart.
Again?
Show me where to start. Let me play the part of your first love. All the stars are right. Let us make a wish tonight, my love.
Yes, welcome back to the love sounds of HTLA's smooth jazz. No. We're not doing smooth jazz yet.
They get crazy because all of a sudden nobody loves them.
Is it Gilbert's problem? Yeah? That's what that is, huh? Okay, well.
He needs love, Chris. Come on.
Well, I know.
You gotta dispense more love from yourself. All these people are hurting here.
No, it's really only Gilbert hurting. It's really... It's not you.
We were 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award.
Right.
And we didn't.
So, okay, you and Gilbert are hurting. Okay.
That's the famous story about Jerry Lee Lewis. You heard that story, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Sitting behind his desk at Paramount, talking with big executives and TV people, and all of a sudden the chick pops up underneath, wipes off her mouth, and walks out the door.
Yeah.
And Jerry doesn't have an eye.
Now, here's a story I'm sure you're tired of talking about, but I'd be remiss in not bringing it up. And that's when you beat up a transvestite.
Well, I keep telling you, it's not a transvestite. It was a transsexual, and, Caitlin's face will never be the same. Yeah. Actually, one thing I got to say about the whole Kardashian Jenner thing.
Yes.
It's actually good that Bruce Jenner went and did that whole Caitlyn crap.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Because, of course, since what's happened subsequently from that is the Kardashians television show.
Yes.
Yeah, the ratings have gone into the toilet now. No, true story. Their ratings have gone to hell.
Yes.
They've who is it? I don't know. Kylie and Cooley and Bidley or Biddly or Diddly, they've gone off. They've gone off and started up their spin-off show now, hoping to recoup some of those watchers that don't give a shit anymore. Yeah. That's what they're doing. Hey, I want to welcome the one, the only Leanne Thomas, of course, to the Spreaker.com live chat room for HTLA. You know what that means, Gilbert?
Yes.
Yeah, we got 4 listeners.
How many different families do you have?
More than 4. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess officially Leanne is going to become, I guess, the HTLA's third lady.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Leanne, you make yourself comfortable in the chat room there. Get to know Sharon and Devlon very, very well. Friend them on Facebook and all that stuff, and you gals can get together and take those topless photos of yourself and send them right on into me. Yeah. Well, moving on today, because we've got more than just a bunch of tits on this show. Well, no, that's not fair, really, because if you look at Louie and
yes.
look at, well, Gilbert.
Yes.
Then you kind of throw me in the mix. I guess you really are listening to a couple of tits. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's okay. What the hell? I'm fine being a boob. I've at least got a lovely, not oversized areola and a beautiful nipple. Thank you. Yes. There we go. So, moving on today, of course, the big story out from the Department of Homeland Security announcing today, of course.
Yes.
The $1.6 billion in FEMA grants that are going out today to target terrorism. First question I have.
Yes.
The national deficit of, well, over $600 trillion now and going up by the trillions every day. Who printed off that money? You know? Who actually printed that? Because we don't have it. This is like asking a homeless guy to buy me a Big Mac.
Yes.
You know, it's... I don't understand. We just keep spending and spending and spending and spending and... Well, not you, Gilbert. You're Jewish. No, but... You know, the rest of us, like, those in power, well, not really so much Obama. He's Muslim, doesn't count. Yeah. But, you know, Biden's Irish, and the Irish have a penchant for spending, you know. So, you know, I don't know where they've got this money from, but apparently it's going out today to FEMA for more of those plastic coffins for us.
Yes.
Or something. Yeah. Well, the recipients of more than $1.6 billion today provided to 56 U.S. states and territories to prevent and respond to terrorism. The funding is split among several different programs under state, local, and tribal governments. Oh, really? So let me get this straight.
Yes.
The federal government needs to make our states safer.
Yes.
Local governments in this country need to make our locales safer.
Yes.
And the Indians are doing record casino stuff, so they need extra security. What? How are the Indians needing any of FEMA money? How is that?
$88,000 a year they make, approximately average, 80, let's say. And there's 1,000. That's $88 million a year that we're paying as taxpayers.
No, Louis. The Indians actually, by person, if you count them up, they actually make more than $88,000 a year, and they're
same thing.
We're just going to chalk it up to the same thing, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, the Indians got a lot of money today. Yes, of course, they were awarded this through the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The $1.6 billion in grants for the fiscal year 2015 is $654,000 more than the funding in the fiscal year of 2014, according to Brian Kaomi, Assistant Administrator of FEMA's grant programs. Several kinds of agencies and organizations benefit from the funding, including state homeland security systems and programs, urban areas, nonprofits, transit, and port security border patrol. Not to mention inner-city bus programs and tribal homeland security programs. Yes. The funding announced today goes primarily towards terrorism, but can also be used for natural disaster response efforts if necessary, Kamoy told HTLA. All grants are primarily targeted towards terrorism, though multiple uses are allowed, such as one as a long asset, of course, that terrorism is, he said. The initiatives fall under FEMA's National Preparedness System, which implements protection efforts from terrorism attacks and natural disasters. FEMA is part of the Department of Homeland Security and provides funding to states, cities, and programs to aid response and prevention efforts. That's actually a good thing. I was just saying, I think I'm going to go into business. I'm going to start up a program to aid response and prevention efforts. Yeah. Of course, it would just go into my Teterboro private jet fund.
Yes.
But, Although a state Homeland Security grant program received $401.32 million of the funds, which includes an additional $654,000. The money will go to state law enforcement and home security advisors, among other departments, to purchase equipment and support training and exercises for response to terrorism incidents. Boy, the next time we have a terrorism incident,
yes,
it would sure be nice if we could see some response. Or not.
Power tends to corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute
yes.
Power corrupts absolutely.
Abso-frickin-lutely, Louis. Yeah. Well, Boston used funding from FEMA during response efforts to the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, which killed 3 people and injured about 260 others. During the hunt for suspects, a police officer also died. The Boston area received $18 million this year through Urban Area Security Initiative, yes, the UASI. Or, as we say in Africa, UASI. Yes, that is, of course, an Obama initiative.
Yes.
UASI u Quenchu Ocha. I'd love being an African. Well, Renee Fielding, director of the Boston Office of Emergency Management, told us that the city used funding from FEMA for equipment and utilities used in the police response to the marathon bombing. Law enforcement and emergency management teams completed a 24-hour exercise before the bombing occurred called Operation Urban Shield. Didn't work. Well, we're not exchanging business cards at the scene of an incident, Fielding said. Well, here's an idea. Maybe you should. Apparently, she says, we already know each other, and we can really just come together and solve the issues that we face now, she says. Someone comes to me with $1.6 billion. Man, am I going to be on the media saying I'm going to solve everybody's issues. Well, I am, Gilbert, yes. and the reason is it's very simple. It's very simple.
Yes.
It's very simple. Somebody gives me $1.6 billion.
Yes.
Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to buy one of the old silos out in the Nevada desert.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also going to buy an island somewhere near where Richard Branson lives. Okay. And I'm just going to leave.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to leave. I'm not going to do radio anymore. I'm not going to. No, I'm just going to leave everybody alone. And right there.
Yes.
People can rest easy in the knowledge, knowing that I've been paid off, taken care of, and they have nothing to worry about. Yes, well, according to Fielding, funding from the 2015 fiscal year, of course, covers new equipment purchases, including another Urban Shield training exercise, which will soon be a failure. Also, first responders radios, which she said haven't been updated in about 10 years and currently cannot receive HTLA's coffee and cigarettes. Also, the state and urban programs operate according to directions from Congress, which permits a minimum grant allotment for each state and a strict number of urban areas to other grants. FEMA bases other grant programs on applications and need. Oh, come on, FEMA, I need it. Well, through the application review process, although it differs slightly depending on the program, Kamoy said that they are peer-reviewed and vetted by state and local officials before consideration from FEMA. I guess that's where I got to go and grease all the government palms. For example, she says, nonprofits received $13 million in funding to enhance safety measures, lighting, and building security, among other projects. $13 million to throw in a couple of light bulbs and change some security procedures? Really? Well, among other projects, these nonprofits are mostly made up of churches and religious organizations, although some militias are included. Representatives from these organizations do feel threatened because of their ideologies, beliefs, and practices, Kamoy said. The nonprofits all are located in the 28 cities that receive funding from the Urban Area Security Initiative, and all will receive $75,000 each. $75,000 each. They say that they're well, they're worried because of their ideologies, beliefs, and practices. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so all you pedophiles out there who live in fear because you think your child diddling might go public, you get on over there and apply for those grants because, clearly your ideologies, beliefs, and practices are, endangering your life. Yeah. And moving on today, we've got a story of thievery that surpasses anything, including a nighttime infiltration of Gilbert's apartment, stealing some of his things.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. The Swiss. Yes, of all people, of all countries of the world, the last people I would think that would steal anything are the Swiss. Jesus, was I wrong? Oh, yeah. Yes, Geneva today. It took a thirsty herd of cows, apparently. That's all it took to prompt a dispute now between Switzerland and France. Yes, neighbors since the Napoleon days, where Napoleon, of course, invaded the Alpine country back in 1798. The small French town of La Ruse has been a beef now with the Swiss army for invading the local lake and nabbing its water to quench the thirst of Switzerland cows. It is true. Since last week, the Swiss military mobilized an airlift to airlift water to about 20,000 cows grazing on mountain pastures and set up water tanks for the livestock. An average cow, it seems, gulps about 40 gallons of water a day. And the recent heat wave and dry spell have caused water shortages. The government-funded operation, which has already delivered thousands of gallons of water to thirsty bovines, is supposed to get its supply from Swiss lakes. But according to the French newspaper Le Parisien La Ruseuse, yes, it all happened without our knowledge. The town's mayor, Bernard Memé, confirmed to the Swiss newspaper 20 Minutes. So, did neutral Switzerland really fly into France illegally, or is it just some kind of mistake? It wouldn't be the first time. Several years ago, 170 armed Swiss soldiers got lost in the dark and wandered into neighboring Liechtenstein. Well, the Swiss, for their part, dismiss France's accusations of water theft as a lot of bull. They explained they needed to get French water because La Ruse Lakes lies closer to one area of the operation than the nearest Swiss water source. Yeah, see? So they're just saving money. What's wrong with that? Well, we sent an official email request to the French state, which gave us the green light. Danielle Riest, spokesman for the Swiss Army, told 20 Minutes. Yes, it appears that Switzerland might be in deep water after all. While it did get permission to fly over French territory, the Army didn't know that local authorities also needed to agree in order to gain access to the lake. The Swiss did not wait till the cows came to the chew over this matter, of course. After a hastily convened meeting Monday between the two countries, Switzerland's Defense Department apologized to Le Rue and its residents in the cross-border snafu. The apology has been thus far accepted, and the Army says it will draw water from Swiss lakes only from now on. Each side is hoping this incident will soon be nothing more than water under the bridge. However, some surveillance photographs have showed the French actually mounting some sort of plasma cannons to the cows. When a reporter asked what they were doing, the Frenchman said, "Payback, any helicopter come? Boom!" So there you go. Don't screw with the French and their water.
Yes.
That's the moral of that story. And moving on, remember when the Obama was all happy because he got that Iran deal?
Yes.
Well, no, he was happy. He brought it to us, and we were all like, yeah, no.
Yes.
And then, of course, that roof thing happened and killed all those black folks, and it was like, quick, look over there. So, of course, we all looked over there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Dillon Roof, 9 dead black people. Ooh, wow, ooh, ah. Yes, we did that, and then what happened when we looked back? Oh, we've approved the Iran deal.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Well, today in Washington, top administration officials, they're actually looking at that Iran deal, and they're kind of like, yeah, no, who wrote this? What the hell? That's right. Top administration officials continued their lobbying efforts today in support of the Iran nuclear deal that is now in a hearing before the skeptical lawmakers on the Foreign House Affairs Committee. Secretary of State John Kerry. Of course, Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew and Energy Secretary Ernest Moniz appeared together and pushed back against criticism that the agreement is weak, threatened Israel, and did not safeguard against money flowing to terrorist outfits once economic sanctions are, of course, eased. I am absolutely convinced that this deal makes Israel safer in the region and the world, said John Kerry. Yes, if we walk away alone. We will have squandered the best chance we've had to solve this problem through peaceful means.
Yes.
But Republicans and some Democrats, of course, weren't sold. Instead of us considering a verifiable, enforceable, and accountable agreement, we're being asked to consider an agreement that gives Iran a permanent sanctions relief for temporary nuclear restrictions, says Committee Chairman Ed Royce. Should Iran be given this special deal? Hell no! Well, the trio of administration officials who appeared last week before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and they have held a series of classified briefings and private meetings with lawmakers, under a recent bipartisan law aimed to expert more congressional influence over the agreement. Lawmakers have until September 17th to vote on a resolution of approval, disapproval, or take no action and allow it to proceed. The agreement struck to deter Iran's nuclear ambitions and allow for inspections in exchange for loosened economic sanctions was negotiated by the U.S., Iran, and 5 additional nations who just weren't heard. Yes, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy told reporters yesterday that he expects Congress will move forward on a resolution of disapproval to block the deal, that President Obama has vowed to veto any such resolution that reaches his desk. So don't put it on his desk. Just go and do it. What are you... why do we got to put everything on his desk?
Yes.
And where the hell's Clinton? Usually he has interns on his desk, Well, with Republicans opposed to the deal and the administration being focused on shoring up enough Democratic support in the event of a veto override vote, the big gamble would come from turning away from the agreement rather than implementing the agreement, says Moniz today. The Democrats remain skeptical, including the panel's senior Democrat, Elliot Engel of New York, who said today he has serious questions and concerns about the agreement. The administration did secure the endorsement of Rep. Sandler Levin of Michigan, a veteran legislature official and top Israel ally in Congress, who announced his support today, saying the agreement offers the best option to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. Levin said, "Really? Because No. Well, the hearing took place as the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, a powerful pro-Israel lobby, dispatched members to visit lawmakers to voice their opposition to the deal. Obama will continue to seek support among House Democrats at private receptions at the White House Wednesday. The House adjourns Thursday for the August recess, and the Senate will leave Washington next week, giving lawmakers time back home to hear from constituents on the Iran deal. The latest CNN poll released today shows a majority of Americans, 52%, in fact, want Congress to reject the deal, while 44% say it should be approved. So there you go. The people have spoken. It's official. It's not being approved. Yep. We don't have to piss around and wait for what Obama says.
Yes.
We don't. No. 52% of Americans say no. Okay, you're done. Yeah, that's it. You are done. Well, moving on today, FDA outbreak. Yeah, I know this should have been the first story.
Yes.
But probably at least 3 or 4 of our listeners have been infected while I've been talking. Yes. Yes, the Food and Drug Administration today issued a partial import ban. Yes, on, where do you think? Geez, it's cilantro.
And this is, I f***ed that up.
Yeah, you did. That's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, they issued an import ban today on cilantro, of all things.
Yes.
And, well, geez, where do you think that might be from? Yes, Mexico! Well, after linking it to Silospora outbreak that has sickened more than 200 people in Texas this year, well, thanks for telling us, Sharon. Yes, HTLA, it's the news you want to know, or more importantly, when we find it out, we'll let you know, but it won't come from our reporters. No. Yes, similar outbreaks in 2013 and 14 were also linked to cilantro from the same area. The FDA issued the alert today saying that the herb would be banned from April 1st to August 31st, annually corresponding with the timing of the outbreaks. The cilantro may have been contaminated by, well, yeah, poop. Yes, poop in the water near growing fields, according to an FDA statement. FDA and Mexican authorities inspected 11 farms and packing places in Puebla from 2013 to 2015 and found, quote, objectionable offenses. Well, you know what, senor? Welcome to Mexico. Yes, 8 of them, including human feces and toilet paper in fields and surrounding areas. Well, I guess that's how they, that's their idea of fertilizer.
Yes.
That's, well, the FDA believes it's extremely unlikely that these outbreaks of cyclosporiasis are due to isolated contamination events because of their reoccurring nature. The FDA said in an alert the ban will continue annually unless individual farms prove that they have not pooped in their fields. And as of July 27th, yes, indeed, yesterday, 205 cases of cyclosporiasis have been reported in the Texas Department of State Health Services. There have been 77 cyclospora cases reported in Travis County, 10 in Williamson County, and 5 in Sharon's home, Hayes County. So there you go, and all you poor Italians down in Mexico.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Really? Human poop in fields? Yeah. Thousands, if not millions of Americans eating Mexican poo? Yeah. Well, you know, what can I say? I love doing them, too.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I import all my food from Canada. Yeah. Well, we're going to go for one more commercial break, but don't you worry. When we come back, we've got all kinds of stuff. We got NASA news. We've got, well, even a little consumer tip for you out there. Yes, all you budget-conscious shoppers like Gilbert. Yes, those of you who don't like spending a dime, we've got some tips and tools here for you.
Yes.
Yeah, it shortened up my Amazon list. I'm happy.
Yes.
So we got those for you coming up in the last segment, coming up in just 2 minutes. Back.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions, abundant with rich, fertile soil? What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons, always fresh, always great tasting coffee.
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce Dryer Bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power!
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the
Egyptian cotton towels.
Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York.
Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Glasses. White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
On Twitter and on Instagram.
That's right. And what about, I don't know, LinkedIn, you idiot? That's right. I mean, if we don't have listeners following us on our corporate page for LinkedIn, we're boned.
Yes.
God damn it.
That was a mistake on my part.
Well, get your crap together and get us on LinkedIn. Or what's the other one that we need to be on? Because there's so many of our listeners on there. Adultfriendfinder.com. Yes.
No, I don't. Because I asked him. I said, "Well, fly out here and I'll film you."
Oh, the guy that you found on Adult Friend Finder? Yeah.
I lived in Greenwich Village for a while when I first started out as an actor.
Yeah. When you first started out as an actor, though, I know you didn't have a job. What did you do for money? Were you, like, pimping yourself out?
The music is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got to hear it.
Yeah, way to change the subject.
Yes.
Welcome back to the big show today. Air Coffee and Cigarettes Tuesday Espresso for this 28th of July, 2015. Where it is, 91 degrees right now, Central Park under sunny skies, under that severe weather warning. It's hot. It's hot. All the girls have beads of sweat in their breastages. Yeah. Well, you know me. I always like to keep an eye on, humidity and things.
Yes.
Yeah. When a girl's breasts start to get misty, I want to keep you informed.
Mr. T would be proud of you.
Yes, he would.
You would have loved the guy.
Yeah.
Never drank, never smoked, did drugs, nothing. He had only one obsession,
Yeah.
and that was the women.
Oh, yeah.
He just pitied the fool, and
If you think that you were clever with women, he wouldn't stand a candle with this guy.
No.
Or Muhammad Ali was another one with women. I did 2 films with him.
Yeah.
He would walk into. We were doing a big boxing movie with 200 or 300 people in the stand, and he walked in and had decided to put his macho honcho, and those were all the Muslims in those days. They had those little thin ties, and he would point at the female.
Mm-hmm.
And he went and got him and gave him a note, and every 20, 30 minutes they would go into his dressing room. But they were only talking about negotiations, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah, it's all about the business, yeah.
It's all about the business, yeah.
Alrighty, let's move the hell on.
Yes.
Stick a finger up my butt and call me moving. Yeah.
It's about fucking time. Move on. Move on.
Thank you, Kissy.
Yeah.
You know, the beep button.
Yes.
I showed you the beep button. Yeah, she's still learning. You'll have to cut us a little bit of slack. You just have to. And if you don't, direct all of your legal queries to corporate at HTLA. No, actually it's not. It's corporate at NewYorksBestTalk.com. There you go. Fire that off, and we'll see what the big CEO who thinks keeping Frankie McDonald around is.
Yes.
And speaking of that, and I know Kissy's new, so she didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of good, but unfortunately, I have now been busted. The CEO was just in the booth there with Kissy. Well, among other things, informing me, of course, on the headphones that we've not done our NAACP traffic report. And, of course, nor have we done the weather outlook for, I don't know, probably 2 years ago or something. So, without further ado, I do have to bring you HTLA's traffic report from reporter Brock Favors in HTLA Chopper 1. Brock, are you there?
Hello, everybody out there. This is Brock Favors with traffic on the ones. Chad Armstrong is out sick today, so I am filling in for my usual land reports. And I'm up here in the chopper, but I gotta tell you guys, I am loving the view. Oh my God! Oh, no, stop! Oh! Whew. All right. Well, we are over the 10, and it's massively clogged down there like a pint of maple syrup on a cool November morning. And we do. Oh! Goddamn, we're gonna die! Oh my God! Woo!
Brock, what's the matter?
Okay, I am very sorry, folks. It's a little bit of a bumpy ride up here. We are now approaching the 405, where the left lane is blocked by a mattress. So somebody is going to be doing a little return to IKEA later today. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, please! Oh, goddamn! Oh, let me on this motherfucking death machine right now! Oh, no, black people ain't meant to be in the sky! We ain't meant to be in the sky, man! Oh, mama, help me, mother...
Yeah.
Oh, mama! Well, the 405 is up right now. Ain't nobody going down this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, folks. I'm very sorry, but I'm losing my up here.
Actually, you have every right to. We're about to crash.
Oh, help me!
HTLA, of course, would like to offer its condolences to the Favors family.
Yes.
And we'll see you tomorrow, same bat time. Bad station.
That was a mistake on my part.
Yeah. Anytime you have helicopter incidents like this, Louis, everybody, including your lawyer, will tell you admit nothing. So now we have to go over to Frankie McDonald, of course, with our weather, and he's got a really set of sore nuts today. Managed to get the steel boots into his scrotum there really, really early this morning. So without further ado, here's Frankie with your weather from, I don't know, I'm going to guess 2 years ago. Here we go. Frankie, all you.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major storm is headed towards Houston, Texas on Tuesday, June 16th, 2015. It's going to bring up to 50-plus millimeters of rain, especially on Tuesday evening. It's going to bring a lot of flooding into windy conditions. It's going to rain sideways and wind-driven rain. Since the tropical disturbance is moving northward to the Gulf of Mexico, that's going to bring a ton of rain in Houston, Texas, Galveston, Texas, and the surrounding communities as well. It's going to bring a lot of rain. It's going to bring windy conditions, and the sewers will back up in the streets. It's going to bring a lot of heavy rain in Houston, Texas, and the surrounding areas and the heavy rain will continue on to Wednesday, June 17th, 2015 in Houston, Texas, and Galveston, Texas, and Tuesday, June 16th, 2015 will not be a good day to do your outdoor activities because it's going to be a lot of rain. I want people in Houston, Texas to clean out the storm drains before a major storm with a lot of rain to hit Houston, Texas on Tuesday, June 16th, 2015, especially during evening hours. It's going to bring a lot of rain. Windy conditions and sideways rain in Houston, Texas, and Tuesday, June 16th, 2015 into Wednesday, June 17th, 2015 will not be a good day to head to the beach and go swimming in Galveston, Texas, since it's going to be a lot of rain in Houston, Texas on Tuesday, June 16th, 2015, which is 6 to 10 inches of rain as well. People in Houston, Texas, be prepared. Have your rubber boots ready for raincoats, ready. When you go for a walk, wear your rain gear, wear your rubber boots, wear your raincoats to keep you dry.
Yeah. How's your balls?
Don't walk in puddles. Avoid the puddles when you go for a walk. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Have your iPads charged, have your iPods charged, have your cell phones charged, have your laptops charged, have your tablets charged, have your 3G and 4G ready.
Yeah. How's your balls?
When you drive the car, don't drive to the puddles.
No.
Avoid the puddles when you drive the car, since it's going to be a lot of flooding in Houston, Texas on Tuesday, June 16, 2015. Into Wednesday, June 17, 2015. Yeah. Have your flashlights ready. Have your candles ready. Have your crank-up radio ready. Have your extra batteries ready. And have your bottled water ready as well. Since it's going to be a lot of flooding in Houston, Texas on Tuesday, June 16, 2015. Into Wednesday, June 17, 2015. If everybody living in Houston, Texas, be prepared for a major storm on Tuesday, June 16, 2015. Best of luck to you. People in Houston, Texas, be prepared for it.
Yep.
Major storm on Tuesday, June 16th, 2015. Especially during evening hours. Stay dry, be safe.
You know, Frankie.
Take care.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. You know, he doesn't even know. He's like, buy your cans of Pepsi, buy your cans of Coke. He doesn't know that those are two completely different and opposing market segments.
Yes.
You know, nobody in their right mind who would go out and buy a case of Coke is going to go out and buy a case of Pepsi. They don't. You know, Coca-Cola. Coke is the real thing. You know, Pepsi is the taste of the new generation. You know, like, And I guarantee you, in an emergency situation,
yes,
like he was talking about there with the floods that happened, I don't know, 6 months ago, I think it was. He's talking about the floods, and stock up on your Coke, stock up on your Pepsi. No self-respecting Texan who drinks Coke or no self-respecting Texan who drinks Pepsi is going to go even next door to their neighbors and even club them like baby seals and take theirs. They're not... They're not going to do that, of course, because, well, here's a fine example. I'm a Coke drinker, of course.
Yes.
One of the reasons is that, my number one, hard liquor of choice is Jack Daniels. Everybody knows this. Yeah. Well, you give me a Jack and Coke. That's what you give me.
Yes.
You give me a Jack and Pepsi, I'm going to kill you. And I can only, this is me, the upscale, classy New Yorker, You imagine if I was a Texas boy, I'd cut your head off. I would skin you like a lion. Yeah. Well, moving along today, we got some more New York news. Yes, a New York mother of 8 children has died in a holding cell, and it's all the white man's fault. That's right. Officials are trying to determine how Raynette Turner, a 42-year-old mother of 8, awaiting arraignment for a, yes, you heard it here first, folks, shoplifting charge. Well, how she died yesterday afternoon in a holding cell at a police headquarters. State Attorney General Eric Schneiderman. Oh, yes, you know the Schneidermans, huh? That's right. The Schneiderman has sent investigators from his team tasked with probing police-involved deaths in Westchester County. Spokesman Eric Sofer said that the case is one of the first Schneiderman's case office has examined since Governor Andrew Cuomo named him special prosecutor earlier this month. See, wow, that's the love. You just get the promotion and already you're dealing with a racially charged case. Oh, that's right. I'm betting he's not too happy about his new job now.
Yes.
No. Granting him the power, of course, to investigate and, if necessary, prosecute police officers involved in death of an unarmed black woman. It's not clear yet whether Schneiderman will launch a full investigation. Sofer said that's what the investigators, of course, are trying to determine. In Mount Vernon today, a representative of Turner's family and city officials gave accounts of what happened to Turner that differed from some key points. Osvaldo Gonzalez, a lawyer for the family, said Turner had been arrested Friday after allegedly stealing a small item from a drugstore. He said her husband, Herman, went to city court on Monday to await his wife's arraignment and was told that she would likely be released without bail. He was then told that she began complaining that she was not feeling well, which believed had delayed her arraignment. The family did not learn of Turner's death until this morning when 2 detectives came to their home to break the news, Gonzalez said. The family has not been able to get additional information about the circumstances leading to her death. We know that she was requesting medical treatment, and it seems that at some level the system and protocols that the city was following failed, he said. Ooh, lawsuit. Well, Mount Vernon officials, speaking at a news conference this afternoon, said Turner was taken into custody Saturday sometime after 3 p.m. on a petty larceny charge after she allegedly shoplifted from a Restaurant Depot, a wholesale food store. Yeah. City officials said it was Turner's third shoplifting arrest in recent weeks. After her arrest, she was put in a holding cell to await arraignment at the start of the week, according to Mount Vernon Deputy Police Commissioner Richard Burke and Captain Edward Adenaro. While she was still waiting her arraignment, Turner was taken by ambulance to Montefiore Medical Mount Vernon Hospital between 7:30 and 8 p.m. Sunday after complaining that she did not feel well. Police said she was treated for hypertension and returned to the cell by ambulance shortly after 10 p.m., they said. She was the only person being held in the cell at the time. The cell block is monitored by video, and people being held there and checked hourly, officials said. Turner was last seen awake at noon, and by 1 p.m., they said, she was found dead at 2 p.m. when officers tried to wake her for her arraignment. Autopsy results, of course, are pending. It's a tragedy that anyone dies in police custody, Burke said. But there's no foul play suspected, so back off. Black Lives Matter. Now, unfortunately, the woman had a history of bariatric problems. She also had bariatric surgery, and she also had hypertension. Gonzalez, however, said that Turner was healthy and feeling very well after undergoing weight loss surgery a year ago. She was a nice lady, a sweet, loving mother, and a good person, Gonzalez says. Her children range in age from 8 to 21 years old. Mayor Ernie Davis at the news conference extended his condolences to the Turner's family. Corey Stroughton, a senior staff attorney with the New York Civil Liberties Union. Yeah, here we go. Said that Turner's death in police custody has echoes of death earlier this month with Sandra Bland. Yes, that Chicago woman who was found dead in a Texas holding cell after her arrest on a minor traffic violation and later found to be just dead. Yes, dead, of course, after, no, not by the white lynching.
Yes.
No, by the self-induced lynching because she's so sad, black, and pathetic. Yes, after incidents like this, you should have local governments that operate holding cells question the wisdom of holding people arrested for minor crimes over the weekend, Stroughton said. You have to ask why someone accused of petty theft has to spend 3 days in jail before even seeing a judge. Community leaders say they want answers. It's deeply troubling that this lady died in our custody, says City Councilman Richard Thomas, a candidate for mayor. We need full transparency so we know what happened. Well, asshole, let's get you some glass jail cells. And, of course, community activist Ronnie Cox warned against jumping to conclusions before all the facts are known. Do not loot, do not steal shoes and sell them on eBay. But, of course, referencing Bland, she added, we have to be very concerned about any individual who passes away in jail. No, just the black ones. Why, just last weekend we had 16 white people all across the United States die in jail. Nobody cares. That's right. And now, we go from Black Lives Matter and all the way up into the vast, vast reaches and billions of stars in space.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
I'm going to say sure.
About fucking time. Move on.
There you go. That's kind of like the sounds of that. It's great. Let's just all fucking let it go.
Yes.
Let's just belt it out and it'd be welcome to coffee and effing cigarettes. Yeah, yes. That's it. Well, the success of NASA's missions revives funding debate. Yes, the recent success of NASA missions prompted a new debate Tuesday on budget cuts to the U.S. space program. Members of the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology called upon some of the country's top planetary scientists to describe the latest NASA missions and, indeed, the future of space exploration. Members of Congress, of course, lauded NASA for its recent historic achievements, namely the New Horizons flyby of Pluto, as they advocated for restoring funding that is set to be eliminated. Chairman Rep. Lamar Smith of Texas and President Obama's 2016 fiscal year budget would cut funding for planetary science by $77 million from that 2015 budget. He said the committee's NASA Authorization Act proposal for the 2016 and 17 fiscal years, however, would restore those funds. Funding levels requested by the Obama administration would slow the rate at which that can develop, build and launch new missions like New Horizons, Smith said. This committee's bill and the funding levels approved in the House would allow NASA to keep planetary missions like New Horizons on track. I'm thinking the money could be better spent.
Yes.
the moon, for example, it still gets the same amount of sunlight as we do here.
Yes.
So let's screw all this, sending these little probes off into the nothing, at the tune of $760 billion. Yes. For essentially what? A couple of pictures of Pluto. Whoop-de-doo. Let's stop that. Let's get smarter about this, people.
Yes.
Let's get up there, build a moon colony, and of course, when you have the moon colony, we can grow cilantro up there. and of course, that would mean that we wouldn't have any of the eating Mexican shit problems we have now. Well, yes, when asked where funding was most needed, the witnesses agreed on two key areas: the cadence of new frontiers and discovery programs and research and analysis programs. The research and analysis programs allow scientists to go beyond the basics of the data collected on NASA missions and translate them into scientific discoveries, said Alan Stern, principal investigator of the New Horizons mission. Earlier this month, the New Horizons spacecraft, of course, made its historic flyby of Pluto, gathering unprecedented images and photos of the dwarf planet. Last week, by Kepler spacecraft discovered Earth-like planets in habitable zones. Yeah, but if we don't have any money to move there and destroy that planet too, what's the point? Well, scientists working the Europa mission, which is scheduled for sometime in the 2020s, also updated the committee on the project and outlined its goals. The mission will explore Jupiter's moon and find out whether it could sustain life, and if so, we can begin screwing it up. Beyond the scientific discoveries of recent NASA missions, John Grunsfeld, NASA's science mission chief, highlighted the engagement of people from around the world and the reach that the missions had because of social media. He said the large number of people following NASA's missions is evidence of the public's interest in new frontiers and space exploration. And when you combine that with all the aliens following us on Twitter, we simply must continue.
Yes.
Well, members of Congress also pressed the witnesses on how the uncertainty of funding affects the development of next-generation scientists. They all stressed the need to foster students' interest in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields. There are a lot of young scientists who question whether they can stay in the field because of the kind of cuts that have happened, says Robert Pollard, a planetary scientist at NASA's JPL. When we don't see new missions coming along, we don't see that kind of research programs going along with those missions, and, well, then the future scientists are boned. I don't think I've ever boned a scientist. Well, look where I picked them up. I'm lucky they've got grade 12. Well, moving along today, our final story is, it's a little couple of tips that might help you out when shopping online. That's right, if you're browsing on a budget, we've got 6 web extensions that'll help you save money. While many students are no doubt focused on making the most of their last weeks of summer, online retailers are readying themselves for back-to-school sales. In fact, Amazon is already promoting its Rebel Flag Off to College event. Well, there's no doubt that online shopping is incredibly popular, especially among young adults, and many students will try to order something online first before running to the store to pick it up. Who the hell wants to go and get on the fine people of Walmart website? Well, however, students often fall back on whatever retailers they're used to ordering from instead of seeking out the best deals. Once the surface, this makes sense. After all, it can take hours to thoroughly research all the buying options for a major back-to-school purchase like laptops or textbooks. However, there are plenty of browser extensions, downloadable programs that run within Chrome and Firefox that can do much of the work for you, from finding relevant coupons to suggesting cheaper retailers. So before you sit down to make your back-to-school purchases, try downloading a few of the extensions that we're going to tell you about and save some money automatically as you shop online. The first one is a little thing called Honey. No, I didn't name it.
Yes.
Yes, it's a sexy little naked blonde girl that pops up in your browser and tells you about great deals. Now, No, Honey automatically adds a find savings button to major websites such as Amazon, Best Buy, Groupon, and Papa John's Pizza. Just add the items you want to your cart and then click Find Savings button, and Honey will find and apply relevant coupons. If you're not looking to buy quite yet, click the small icon in the browser bar of supported websites instead. This will let you browse all the sales and coupons that Honey has found for that particular site. The next one is called the Camelizer. Yes. Like its namesake website, camelcamelcamel.com, this extension tracks the prices of products over extended periods of time. The add-on lets you browse historical price information to see how an item's cost has fared in the past without having to leave the retailer's website. You can also set up price watches for items that you want to buy and get an email alert as soon as those prices drop. The Camelizer can also track price information from Amazon, Best Buy, and Newegg. Also, don't forget coupons at checkout. Yes, unlike other add-ons, this extension from Coupon Follow Only does one thing, but it does it very well. The extension is incredibly simple to use. Just click on the promo code box in the checkout page of a major online retailer like Macy's or Nike, and a list of helpful coupons will immediately display in order of descending relevance. Coupons at Checkout claims this extension supports more than 100,000 online stores. Another is Price Jump. Yes, if Amazon is your go-to online shopping destination, then you should definitely check out Price Jump. This simple extension will pop up in the upper right corner of your browser if the Amazon item you're looking at is available for a better price at a different retailer. If Amazon offers the best deal, the extension stays hidden and won't appear while you're browsing other retailers either. The fifth little tip we got for you is something called Savings Sidekick. It's created by Coupon Cabin, and this extension automatically tracks cashback offers from more than 1,800 retail sites and displays the percentage in an easy-to-find icon right above the store's logo. It also does the more typical work of finding coupon codes for you as well. You need a Coupon Cabin account to get the cash offers, but anyone can use the coupons it finds. And hey, for giving up your email address to somebody who's going to sell it and spam you with 4,000 ads a day, that's a good deal. And finally, a little app for Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Yes, Invisible Hand. This is one I like to use at porn sites. While most extensions focus on traditional online retail shopping, which is all great, the Invisible Hand goes a step beyond them. While the add-on does show you if a product is available for a cheaper price at a different site, it does the same for flights, hotels, rental cars. So be sure to download it if you're planning a trip anytime soon. Each notification gives you a link directly to the lowest price, and the extension will also tell you if any coupons are available, but you'll have to enter them manually. Oh no, actual work. Well, and if you're planning on traveling, remember, stay the hell away from LaGuardia. There you go. So, yeah. There it is. That is your show today. I hope you enjoyed it. Christ knows I did, yeah. I want to thank the one, the only, Louie Lawless for being here today, sir. It was great having you.
I think it should be short and sweet.
Well, we'll keep you nice and short and sweet. You're good to go.
And I finally figured out how to edit.
Good. That's always a big plus when you're, a filmmaker for the last 40 years. Yeah. So thanks for being here, Louie. Really appreciate it.
Can you give me any help for $25,000?
No, hang up now. No. Also, Gilbert,
yes.
It's a joy and a pleasure as always. Let the folks know about the social media.
Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, on Twitter, and on Instagram.
Or we'll come and hunt you down, cut your head off, and skin you. Well,
thank you for listening.
Yeah, that too.
And support the show for the love of God.
Yes. And where can folks follow you, Gilbert, on your Twitter?
On Twitter,
at
Real Gilbert, ACP.
Yeah. I don't know what the ACP is. I just follow you at Real Gilbert. Okay. All right. Well, listen, thank you to all the listeners out there on all the many different platforms we are on. Appreciate your support and service through all these years. And you want to find out more, NewYorksBestTalk.com. That's where you go. Everything else, ignore it. Just go to newyorksbesttalk.com. That's it. Have yourselves a great Tuesday. We'll see you here tomorrow for the Wednesday Grinder.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.